Hello everyone, and here we are at the semi-final in the Huddersfield Sheriff event. We've got Desolation Row facing off against the fourth ring. Both, I think, are going to be packing a lot of hexes, so we should see a lot of paralysis marks and various things. I imagine here, lots of control. Just starting with low ball, 3 of a kind, both players. 10s against queens though, so it's a loss of a joker for no low ball. Always a disappointing sight. Let's look at the starting posse. So fourth ring's got Jake, Travis, Leonardo and Valeria. Desolation Row has Benny, Maria, Jake, Angelica and Mackay. So that's a Soul Blast going on Maria there. Probably the better of the two carriers. A Blood Curse over onto Valeria. So that's going to reduce the already limited Sloan influence. And that's another Soul Blast going on to Maria, so Shootout's going to be dangerous for those low value dudes, particularly, well, so really put Jake out of any ability. Paralysis Mark, that's going on Benny. Obviously Benny is a Huckster 1, whereas Maria only gets her bonus with the Huckster 0 during Shootout, so Paralysis Mark much more likely to be cast on Benny than on Maria. Valeria moved to the town square and then moved back. Not quite sure what that was for. Presume it was maybe. Probably yes. Didn't want to get paralysis marked if she stayed in the town square. Rumours on Benny. Paralysis mark on Travis. So fourth ring's not going to put up any defence to the Desolation Row job here. Circle M for fourth ring, so going to get some more cards. Makayo's going to go and take Circle M though to prevent that card draw. But a Blood Curse there on Makayo stops that from happening, so he's going to have to move someone else over, and I imagine... I don't think... Sorry, it wasn't a Rumours, it was Leonardo casting his ability on Benny. So Maria moves over to Circle M, going to get control back again. Carter's Bounties over on the other side, and I'm not sure here whether that putting deeds on both sides is probably best. So obviously Leonardo, and with the Blood Curse for the fourth ring, you've got a lot of control over those two locations next to you. Angelica and Jake are doing the Desolation Row job. I imagine. Yes, Jake's not going to pose that. Probably been a bit dangerous. It's just booting the Soul Blast there. Don't boot when Maria moved. St Anthony's Chapel, not really useful for its abilities, I don't think here. I think mainly just for a queen value, so we can expect it's not who you know, or it's not what you know. Sorry, I think. And probably General Store, those sort of queens are good for Hex decks and Blood Curse. I imagine as well 8s on both sides for the paralysis marks. Benny in the town square, he's going to use that probably to boot Leonardo. Leonardo being the enemy, being a 2 influence. He will control any deed he goes to at the moment. Obviously, Makayo and Maria both only have 1 influence. Another loss of a joker there for the fourth ring. That's going to be difficult. It's going to be a low ball win though for the fourth ring with the 3 8s there against the 3 queens. So on to day number 2. Leonardo is going to boot Benny. Bit of a surprise there. I'm not sure Benny really offers much. The paralysis mark he can use anyway, even if booted, and so that effectively boots 2 of his dudes on the fourth ring. It boots Leonardo in order to boot Benny, and then he'll get Valeria will be booted by the paralysis mark. Old Man McDrost, he's going to go and try and reduce some influence of people, and probably move to an opposing deed in order to stop that from getting the production. Yeah, I mean, going back to Benny, I can't see him not booting the paralysis mark in order to call out a dude with higher bullet rating. I think he's much rather going to be booting the paralysis mark. So, and Benny with no influence, he can't take control of a deed. So I think you'd much rather probably there boot Makayo or Maria Mikhail is going to be moving bounties over to Maria that come from the Destination Road job. Soul Blasting Maria, Blood Cursing Maria, Mikhail, sorry, even. So Maria is still controlling that deed, unless he's got another Blood Curse or Rumours or something to put that down. There's Bears Building Loan, a very good deed for any deck that's running quite a few, and he's going to be able to play probably a lot of his deeds in his deck for free now. And while it obviously doesn't itself have the best ratio of production to cost, it obviously does work very well for getting further deeds out in your deck for much reduced cost. And there, so Old Man Madross, he's staying where he is. Problem with the 4-3 at the moment, I think, here is that it's somewhere to play Shadow Walk onto Maria. Sorry, no, and it's been out of fight. It's only got Valeria as a stud bullet, and obviously not stud by default. Wants to use Travis. There's Carter's Bounties, played using Bears Building Loan, so it's effectively already made Bears Building Loan a 3-2. I think as well, rather than this thing with Booting Maria as well, it stops any hexes getting played from Destination Row. You'd have to send Benny home, which obviously that would boot him, so you have to wait. You'd be actually no, sorry, in this case you'd probably go to a deed now, back to one of his own deeds to play the extra hexes on, then move back to Town Square afterwards. But I think I'd much rather see a. So we're moving the bounty onto from Maria onto Angelica. I don't think we're going to be seeing much of a fight with Maria when it's Destination Road job. With Benny and Angelica, so that's going to get Benny out of trouble. He's going to go home booted as part of the job, and so that's now 1, 2, 3, 5 control points against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 influence on 4th ring. I don't think there's any way to win this. Well, sorry, so Jake can move to Carter's Bounties, and that would then force the other Jake across. He could use then the Carter's Bounties to move Angelica in. Yeah, so Jake going to circle M. Presume that I'm not sure on that one actually. I think so. Presumably Jake's now going to move across here. I don't think any of them matter. I mean, because Jake obviously can't control any deeds that he moves to. He just will get the control points at sundown. So now Maria's going to move across to the other Carter's Bounties, and then yes, this is in. So now he has access to 2 Carter's Bounties, so he can move Angelica twice. From one to the other and back again. But yes, that's going to protect the game at least this turn for 4th ring, because no one can get across to Jake to call him out. So I think it's just going to be probably how we're going to leave this game state this turn. I'm Drost, he can come across. He's going to probably have a pop at, or even reduce. Well, I mean, if he tries to reduce Jake's influence, I imagine Jake would just call him out because that would boot him. Old Man Drost has disappeared. Not quite sure why he's gone away there. Yes, I'm still unsure why Old Man. I think we're just getting a rule clarification on Old Man Dross. That's why it's disappeared. He was just off for a rule query, rather than for just being discarded for no reason. And the Shadow Walk not being used on Maria. So Old Man Dross is off to Bear Building Alone. That's just going to reduce the cost. So Old Man Dross actually is going to Maria, and it's probably 5. Yes, no one can boot over there to call out Old Man Dross, so it's going to reduce Maria's influence. But I imagine if Maria does go, then she'll just go home with the Shadow Walk. So, yep, Shadow Walk. That's going to go home booted. I probably would have let him. Oh no, I'm not sure how that would have done for control points. So influence. So influence on the Sloane has got 1 with Maria, 3 with Jake. Because obviously -1 would have had 2 control points if Old Man McDrost had been used. I don't think. Yes, Travis would have to call someone out. So yes, I don't think he could have lost there. I think he probably should have waited for Old Man McDrost to boot. And then he possibly could have moved. No, he couldn't have moved anyone over. So I think yes, that's. We're going to go into another day, but it's both players looking. So Joker there. It's going to be 2 pair against. Looks like 2 pair. And 10s and 8s, but it's going. The Joker there, low. Thing. So I can't imagine any more Destination Road draws being carried out here. Well, actually, Angelica can still, because the Carter's bounties can still always bring Angelica in. And imagine, I mean, even go for Bear's Building alone, and then if she gets moved there, she can then go for the fight with Jake. But a chance for 4th ring to be able to move out here. Paralysis Mark going on to Leonardo. Obviously not onto Travis. He can't cast things. But I'm not sure really booting is going to do much. I think he there probably wanted to boot Jake. I suspect if you can get called out Jake. Jake is going to get booted from the Paralysis Mark from Destination Row. Paralysis Mark here is now going to boot Jake. Yeah, so both players booting the Jakes that they've got. So I imagine someone's going to have a shootout, and Jake is going to probably be targeted. But I think it's actually here. So no way for Destination Row to just sit on the same lead as Jake. Well, actually, I possibly could actually call him out and then move his own Jake over. But ideally, he wants to. Mikhail is likely to get blood cursed again, or even booted through Leonardo. Say, I don't think Benny is the right choice for Paralysis marking. Just having a think here. I think with 9 Ghost Rock, if he does have a dude, I mean, it looks like he's got a blood curse, a soul blast. That's probably why he went home last turn, in order to make sure he could play the hexes. Although Benny was already home, so no need there. So Alice Stowe, she comes in. Yeah, so Leonardo boots Benny. Again, I don't think that's. I mean, okay, yes, he can be used to call somebody out. I suppose is probably the thinking there. He being in the town square, he can move to any deed and call someone out, but he's not contesting. Fourth ring is not contesting any of the deeds to really worry about Benny. And now with Alice in play, Alice is going to be able to move anywhere with that. So Alice is. So Mikhail is going to get blood cursed. So that gets the control back of Circle M in order to use it to draw a card. But still, the control points are going to lie with Destination Row, and at the moment it's 1, 2, 3 control points versus I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 influence. And I imagine Maria here is going to move to Jake Smiley's location and Soul Blast him to pieces. And I think even with the loss of Maria, that's not going to matter too much. We're just looking through the discard piles here to see what's going on. I think it's 8 queens and possibly 10s as well. Actually, we've seen the Shadow Walk, we've seen Bears Building alone, so I think probably the 8s are off value. Oh no, sorry, the Soul Blasts are off value, and then it's 8 10s and queens for Destination Row, and it's 8s and queens on 4th ring, probably 10s as well. Although not seeing any Shadow Walks, it's difficult to tell with not seeing too many cards from 4th ring. to know. Although I've seen, I think, quite a few unprepareds in the local hands, so probably tens there. So both players running very similar sort of decks, bar their posses really. So Maria is going to circle M. I'm not quite sure that's the right choice. I probably would have just moved her to Jake's location and killed him. Move Alice to Carter's bounties to protect anyone moving to Jake's location, and Maria then can't die. And then so Bene's going to put Soul Blast on. I suppose as well, actually, there's still the opportunity to move Maria with the Shadow Walk. I don't know how many off-value Soul Blast. Maybe perhaps the one Soul Blast is the likely failure. I think Shadow Walk casts on 8. Yes, it does 7. So you can easily move other than just putting the Soul Blast. So it's currently 1, 2, 3, 4 control points for Desolation Row. I can see a Blood Curse in the hand there, which if cast, so yes, yeah. So yeah, we're just looking at the control point situation. So it's currently 3 to 2. So I mean, I don't think Maria moving to Carter's bounties to kill Jake would have been too virtual. I mean, Travis would have then possibly moved over to call out Jake with Valeria, but Angelica come in and maybe just didn't fancy the chance of a fight. But Angelica's going to move to the town square by the looks of it. Yep, that's Angelica moved to the town square. She obviously now can join any fight, which I mean probably would have been the safer option for anyway. So Alice. Yep, she's going to go and take on Jake. But this is the thing. So the Carter's bounties is still available to move someone like Travis over. So whereas if Alice had gone to Carter's and Maria had gone over to Jake and then Soul Blast, so Blood Curse onto Maria. Obviously, yes, Maria can still Shadow Walk over, but I think it's a bit of perhaps a misuse of the Shadow Walk. No, before we play the card, we're going to go back and use the Circle M Ranch. That's so yep. Now is the so that's another Shadow Walk by the looks of it. Yep, which I presume is just drawn with the card cycle there. So I think Maria wants to move to. Yes, so there's a Blood Curse. So Blood Curse on Valeria, which would reduce then to 4 influence. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 if Maria moved to Carter's. It would then result in a shootout with both Valeria and Travis, but I imagine they would both die horribly from Soul Blasts that are stacked on Maria. So they probably have to move over to. I think anyway here you've got to go after Jake, haven't you? Because that would get rid of. It would put him on 1 control point there. So Valeria to town square. I assume she's going to get called out instantly by Angelica, who's not with the massive dudes at Circle M. She's actually in the town square. Yeah, so Angelica is going to call out Valeria. That's going to boot Maria. So I imagine there's going to be a Soul Blast here. Is Travis going to join? Travis is going to join, as he probably should. I mean, he's not doing well. I suppose he was useful for calling out Jake if he wanted to, but I'm not sure making Valeria just for trying to. So that does that sends home Valeria. Not good enough to kill, but yes, there's Carter's bounties. Going to move Old Man McDrostin. I think that's yeah, Carter's in Alice here if he wanted to, although I'm not sure that's quite the right thing. Yeah, so Alice is going to get moved in with Carter's just to boost the stud bullets to 4 stud. The probably important thing there, you see a lot of unprepareds, which perhaps could boot Alice. That would be a very good move to now you could unprepared Alice. You then have only Maria as available movable influence, so that would get to, I think, so that succeeds. Travis goes home booted after another Soul Blast. So it's going to be something against four stud and some draw as well. I think Benny's in this fight. Maybe he may not be, but Maria definitely is. She's obviously been casting all her Soul Blasts against Old Man McDrost here. Is that full house? I mean, I think you've just got to cheat for your life here, haven't you? Really, and just hope, unless you hope you draw into a full house. But if not, just go for your best hand possible. But there's a Joker there for Desolation Row, which is likely to be 4 of a kind, probably with 4 stud. It's going to be at least full house, and he's going to be happy to expect to lose someone like Alice. But full house versus something. So legal 5 of a kind, I think there. So that's Old Man, or maybe cheating 5 of a kind. Not sure there. I think if we've been cheating though, there was 2 money available for It's Not What You Know. So 4 influence, currently 3 control points on side of Desolation Row, but I think, yeah, so Alice is moving to Carter's, and yeah, I think they're just saying that's game now. Angelica or even Maria is going to go and kill Jake and send him home. So that's the game there. So Desolation Row advanced on to the finals. I'll come up with that video very shortly. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you all again soon.